If you have not watched Steven Universe up until the season finale called Jailbreak, then this video is going to be full of spoilers for you. If you take a look in the doobly-doo, I'll try to include a link to the portion of the video past all the spoilers so you can get to my announcements and stuff at the end of the video. This is the first video I'm uploading to YouTube that's taking advantage of YouTube cards, which I just got access to today, and they're kind of like annotations, but different. If you're viewing this video in a web browser from a computer, you should be able to hover your cursor anywhere on this screen, and you'll be able to see the letter I pop up in a little circle. If you click on that, you'll have access to all of the cards, which are links related to this video. You'll also see little messages about those cards appear up there in the corner when I've got them set to appear. With all that out of the way, let's get to the point of this video. We are the crystal gems, we'll always save the day. And if you think we can't, we'll always find a way. That's why the people of this world believe in Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl, and Steven! Happy Tuesday, Paul Talkers. Once again, I'm going to tell you this is going to contain spoilers about the last few episodes of Steven Universe up to and including the finale of Season 1 called Jailbreak. I had initially thought that I might just take some notes on all of the episodes that happened last week called the Steven Bomb and then just talk about all of them, but my notes got really long. So instead, I'm just going to talk about an amazing finale called Jailbreak, and if you don't want to know anything about that episode or the episodes that led up to it, then stop now, check in the doobly-doo and see if there's a link to later in the video after the spoilers. Steven Universe is my favorite show on TV right now, animated or not. It covers all the bases. And by the time we got to Jailbreak, our heroes have ended up on the enemy ship, the ship of some gems that came from the gem homeworld. When the crystal gems had tried to fight off the homeworld gems at their temple, it didn't go well for the crystal gems, and one of the homeworld gems, Jasper, shoved like a sword thing into Garnet, and Garnet split in half and then dissolved into gems in front of Steven Universe's eyes, and I feared Garnet was lost. So Jailbreak starts off differently from all the other episodes, because even though the intro is the same as all the other episodes, the title card is in space, which is where they are. That is cool. Steven wakes up, and he doesn't know what's happened to the gems. Now, as Steven's waking up, we hear Sapphire song, and it's beautiful, and it's referenced a few more times in the episode. So Steven is in this like energy prison thing, and he tries to push against the energy wall to see what happens, and it tingles him, it feels kind of weird, but it doesn't stop him, so he just passes right through. He can get through the barrier set up by the homeworld gems, who have modern technology that the crystal gems can't really deal with. Well, guess what? They don't bother Steven. As Steven is looking for his friends, he comes across a figure who, in my mind, immediately looked like a tiny version of Garnet. Like a kid version of Garnet. Of course, Steven breaks out this mini Garnet character, who we later learn is called Ruby. As soon as Ruby is out of the prison, she starts off looking for Sapphire, desperately. And at one point, Ruby stops and says that she can't see. So I think that Ruby has Garnet's future vision. As Steven and Ruby are racing around Jasper's ship, they come across Lapis Lazuli. Lapis Lazuli acts like someone who is in an abusive relationship, like a violent, abusive relationship. She acts broken, she acts like anything that she does that might rile up her captor is something to be avoided, even if it's the best thing to do for everybody else. You just don't fight with your captor. Lapis refuses to leave her jail cell because of all the horrible things that have happened. And then Steven replies to that reasoning with one of my favorite lines, which is, "That's why we have to fight them, because of the horrible things that they've done." That's so Steven. That's so Steven. Steven promises to come back for Lapis, and he doesn't manage to do it while they're on the ship. Will he ever do it? Will he ever come back for Lapis? I hope so. At this point, Ruby's just gotten frustrated with the delay, so Ruby has wandered off on her own. Steven goes looking for Sapphire based on Sapphire's song, and finds her, and releases her from the prison just like he did with Ruby. Steven is just so welcoming and loving of everybody, he doesn't even question the fact that Sapphire knew what his name was. Sapphire grabs him by the arm, and they go racing to find Ruby now, and they do meet. And when Ruby and Sapphire see each other and they come together, it is beautiful. It is beautiful. Ruby is brusque and only cares about Sapphire. Sapphire is softer and cares about a lot more. That's a beautiful combination. They danced in joy and jubilation. And as we know, when gems dance together, that's when they confuse. And that's what happens. Biggest spoiler, Ruby and Sapphire make up Garnet. Garnet isn't always fusion. What? Just like Pearl looked different after she decorporealized and then came back together in a body, Garnet also looks a little bit different. Rather than just part of one leg being off color, she is now split down the middle in her color divisions, and the colors on her chest are a little bit different. It used to be light and dark, now it's dark and light and lightest. Also, her shoulder pads went from being blocks to being kind of like triangular or pyramidal. And almost right after that, Garnet needs to fight Jasper, and Steven's concerned for Garnet. Garnet says that she's never alone. I'm just gonna link to a video of Garnet's song, because Garnet's song is just flipping the best thing I've ever heard ever in any context ever. Possibly I'm exaggerating, but it's really, really good. Check out the link. It's gonna be over here for Garnet's song video. I didn't know what she was singing during the but I looked up the lyrics and she's singing, I am made of love. She's made of love. Garnet is made of love. And it's stronger than you. Now after the climactic fight scene, the spaceship crashes, Jasper climbs out of the rubble and says that Jasper could have taken Garnet if only she could fuse as well. And then Lapis Lazuli climbs out of the rubble and Jasper grabs Lapis Lazuli. And I was concerned, I was nervous right there that we were about to see a breach of consent. But here's a beautiful thing. Even the villain checked in for consent. I think it's something that's inherent to the gems. They know that they will break if they try to fuse without consent, so they don't do it. This whole flippin' fantastic episode, and then right at the end, a note about the importance of consent. Even villains need it. Lapis agrees, but then as they fuse, Lapis takes over and drags the villain away. And then the excellent thing is that Garnet points out, yikes, they are really bad for each other. Garnet was concerned about the quality of their relationship in a fusion, because Garnet knows what it's like to be a fusion. It's so good. A repeating theme throughout the series is, have I hurt you? What have I done wrong? What can I do to make it better? Steven loves basically everybody, and he tries to take care of them in his naive way. There basically aren't any gender roles that Steven recognizes as being a significant thing. He just does stuff, which is fantastic. And I think maybe his mother was like that too, so in some ways Steven is really taking her place. Like in the main relationships, Pearl needs someone to admire. It used to be Rose Quartz, now it's Steven. Garnet appreciates seeing the kind of love that she embodies in other people. It used to be in Rose Quartz, now she sees it in Steven. She really saw it in Stefani. And Amethyst, rambunctious runt that she is, needs someone to take care of her. And that used to be Rose Quartz, and it's starting to be Steven. Now I read on a Tumblr post that Steven Universe is a very trans show. And I am not in a position to validate that statement. But what I can say is that the gems decide who they are. And sometimes they even need to fuse with someone else to become their true selves. Steven definitely has that in him, and maybe Connie has that in her as well. The idea of being on a literal or metaphorical path to discover your true self is not a new one. It is, to steal from Beauty and the Beast, a tale as old as time, but I love it. It is my favorite story because when I was a kid, I didn't think that I was my real self. And when I was a teenager, I didn't think that I was my real self. And as an adult, I'm starting to feel like this is really me, but that is still a journey that I'm on all the time. That is the core story of Steven Universe. A kid trying to find out who his true self is, and he's trying to get there through love and singing. And that's why this is my favorite show. Spoilers are over. That took forever. Do you see why I only talked about one episode? Do you watch Steven Universe? Tell me in the comments what you've thought about the Steven Bomb series of episodes, particularly Jailbreak, because that was my favorite. Were my observations and analyses close? Let me know. If I was wrong, let me know that as well. Tell me in the comments. Or tell me anything that matters to you, because I want to know what matters to you. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, or better yet, share this with people that you think would like it. Share it on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, elsewhere. And if you want to see more of my face talking about stuff, then please subscribe. There's a red subscribe button on your screen somewhere, and if you click on it, you'll be subscribed. And this Saturday, March 21st, is just a couple days shy of my 2-year YouTube anniversary. So I'm going to celebrate that by having an all-day YouTube live event. Come back here on Saturday and check in, because I'm going to be running this from noon to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, which is equivalent to 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, or 4 p.m. to midnight Greenwich Mean Time. Aha! Hopefully somewhere in that time you can come and watch us talk about stuff. I'm going to be joined by hopefully many of my YouTube friends. If you've already agreed that you're going to be involved in this, please remind me. Yeah, hopefully it's just going to be like an all-day party. Just having fun, talking with people all day long. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that you can make it. I have over 32 minutes of footage. As always, thanks for watching, and tomorrow will be even better.